This is a very simple DDNet tutorial that goes over the basics of what new players should know. Now before we begin the tutorial, there are some settings that I recommend you change. So to get to the settings from the main menu, go to the top right and click the gear icon. First, go to language, choose whatever language you want, and go to general. You want to make sure that dynamic camera is not checked, so make sure there's no X in the box. Next, go to the player tab. Here you can change your username and your clan if you have one. You can also change your country, which will show in the tab list if you select one. After that, click on the T tab. You can customize your T here with many different skins, and you can also change the colors by clicking custom colors. There are also some controls that you should have, but I'm going to skip over that for now and go to the DDNet tab at the bottom. You want to click anti-ping. In most cases, anti-ping will make your gameplay a lot smoother and it'll be a lot more consistent. So make sure you have anti-ping selected and make sure you have all 4 boxes checked off, and make sure your anti-ping limit is 0. Now there are a few controls that I recommend everyone uses. For example, hook collisions. I bound my hook collisions on X, and what this does is if I am pointing to a hookable tile and I have hook collisions on, I press X, it will show as green. If I show it to an unhookable tile, it will be red. And in the air, if I can't hook anything, it will be red. And if I point it at a player, it will be yellow, as you can see here. This is useful in many parts when you need to know if you can hook something or not. Finally, a really useful bind to have is entities. So what entities are, I bound mine to E. So whenever I press E, I can see the exact game tiles in the map. So if you notice from map to map, the tiles for hookables and unhookables will differ. But if I turn on entities, it will always be the same tile, so you no longer have to be confused about which tile is which in different maps. Okay, so let's talk about tiles. Right now I'm in entities, which I talked about earlier. So if you press your entities key on any map, you'll see these tiles. And the first tile we're going to talk about is hookables. So these guys you can stand on and you can hook them. That's basically it. You can use them for speed or to climb up walls and whatnot. And the second thing we're going to talk about is unhookable tiles. So these guys you cannot hook, but you can stand on them. Alright, next up is freeze. Now, freeze blocks are special. They're in almost every map. So what happens after you touch a freeze block, you cannot move for 3 seconds. So if I touch this block, I'm unable to move. Even if I press all my keys, I can't move. I'm frozen. So that means if you're stuck in a freeze block like this, you basically fail unless someone helps you. So if I'm stuck in the freeze, I have to be helped by someone else in order to get out. And if your whole team is stuck in freeze, you basically fail the map. Now next up we have unfreeze. So these tiles right here, these 3 tiles, they basically unfreeze you if you're frozen. So if I'm frozen and I drop in these unfreeze tiles, I'll be unfrozen. But if I don't touch them, I'll have to wait 3 seconds until I get unfrozen. Next up are these hook through tiles. So these tiles, you can stand on them, you can't get through them, but what's special about them is you can hook through. So I can hook anything through these tiles. That also means I can hook other T's through these hook through tiles. Next up are stoppers. So stoppers are kind of like one-ways. You can go through one way, but you can't go through the other. So if I try to jump through these, it's going to stop me, but I can still go through the other way. So this is a one-way stopper. There are also two-way stoppers. So I can't go into it, I can't go from below and I can't go from on top, but I can go through them from the sides. And finally, these are four-way stoppers. You can't go through anyway. They block you on all 4 sides. And what's different from this and a hook through tile is that you can shoot weapons through stoppers, while you can't shoot them through tiles like this. Okay, so these armor bars, what they do is they make you lose all your weapons. So if I had all 3 weapons beforehand, when I walk through the armor, I'm gonna have nothing. And these hearts, what they do is they kind of act like freeze blocks. Usually they're not used, so don't worry about it too much. Alright, next up is these deep freeze. This is called deep freeze. If I touch a deep freeze, I'll be frozen forever. And you'll be frozen until you touch a deep unfreeze. So if I get my friend over here to help me, now I have to wait 3 seconds and I'm unfrozen. So make sure if you touch these guys, make sure you have someone to help you to get to the unfreeze. Alright, next up are these solo blocks. If you touch a solo block, what happens is you enter solo mode and you can't interact with any other Ts. So if I entered solo mode, I can't touch my friend here, I can't do anything with him. But if we both exit solo mode, I can return and I can interact with him again. There are also teleport blocks, which if you fall on them, it will teleport you to your last platform that you were on. Alright, so let's get into movement. There are a few things your T has. You have a double jump, which allows you to jump in midair once more, and also a grappling hook, which pulls you towards where you hooked. So for example, if I hook the ceiling right here, it will pull me towards the ceiling. You can use the grappling hook to get speed. So for example, if I want speed in the left direction here, I can hook the floor in front of me and hold A, and it will propel me forward at a faster rate than if I just walked forward myself. You can also climb with the grappling hook. For example, if I wanted to get above this ledge, I can use a grappling hook and hoist myself up. So what I did is, right here, I grappled and I held A. So why did I hold A? Well, if you grapple a block, you get pulled towards the block. So if I just grapple like this, I will get right here, but I want to be above the grapple. And to get that, I have to go to the left of the grapple. So what I did is, I grapple here, but I hold A, so I move left, and now I can get on top of the ledge. Now in many maps, you'll see parts like this. These are very common. They're called drag parts. So the whole concept is you want to drag your friend through the bottom and bring him to the end of the part. Now what you can do is you can actually hook through these corners. So wherever there's a corner that has only 2 blocks like this, you can hook through it. So I can hook my friend through these corners and bring him to the end. Now you'll have to change corners and get him to the end like this. Now my friend does it to me, and he hooks through the corners and brings me to the end. Now let's talk about weapons. There are 5 main weapons in the game, and there's 1 extra weapon. So the 5 main weapons are the hammer, the gun, the shotgun, the grenade launcher, and the laser rifle. Now on every map, you will have both the hammer and the gun always available. Now the hammer does 2 things. 1, it knocks back T's you hit. So if my friend here is in the freeze and I hit him with my hammer, he will get knocked back and he will be out of the freeze. Another thing that the hammer does is unfreeze people. So here, if I hit my friend, he will get unfrozen as well. So if you notice, here he's frozen, and if I hit him, he doesn't have to wait 3 seconds, it immediately unfreezes him. So this can be useful whenever you want your friend to be unfrozen immediately. One special mechanic you can do with hammers is called a hammer fly. So this is a core mechanic of DDNet. So you need 2 T's to do a hammer fly. And what happens is the top T hooks and the bottom T hammers. And you will travel upwards in the air like that. Usually it's easier to do it against the wall. So if you're beginning, try doing it against the wall. You need to make sure that you hook once every 2 hammers, or else your hook will run out like this. So if you don't keep hooking the bottom one, your hook will run out. And the bottom one should hammer whenever the 2 T's touch, like this. So whenever the 2 T's are right next to each other, the bottom T should hammer. And that's how you do a hammer fly. It takes some practice, but I'm sure you'll get it. Now, the gun doesn't physically do anything by itself. Instead, many players choose to use it as a communication device. They'll usually shoot their gun if they want to alert you about something, or tell you something, or bring something to your attention. So if I want to tell my friend that, oh, we should go over here, I would just shoot my gun, and it's like a communication device. Now for the other weapons, you don't naturally spawn with them. If you want to get them, you have to pick them up. Some maps have them and some maps don't. So let's start off with the shotgun. The shotgun pulls other Ts towards you. As you can see, when I shoot my friend over here, he gets closer to me. You can also use a shotgun to pull yourself like this. You can go upwards, sideways if you shoot a block right here. And yeah, the grenade launcher is what you expect it to be. It launches grenades. So these grenades have a knockback effect, but nothing else. So if I shoot my friend, I can knock him off the platform. And what you can also do is you can shoot yourself like right below yourself and do what's called a grenade boost. So it's kind of like the soldier in TF2. If you shoot it below yourself, you can go really high in the air. So what you want to do is you jump and then shoot it right after. So jump, shoot like that, but a lot quicker. So it should look like that. And what you can also do is you can also propel yourself off walls to go even higher. So after you boost yourself on the ground, you can boost yourself on the wall if there is a wall, and you'll go very high. Finally, we have the laser. Now, the only purpose of the laser is to unfreeze your teammate. So if your teammate is frozen and you hit him with the laser, he'll become unfrozen. And this also applies to shooting him in the freeze. Now, when you shoot a teammate in the freeze, he is unfrozen for 1 tick. So in this 1 tick, if your teammate is holding inputs, so for example, if my friend here holds jump and A, he will jump to the left when I laser him. And that's what it looks like. So you can use this to get past many parts. Similar to the shotgun, you can also laser yourself by bouncing it off a block and letting it hit you. So in that example, I jumped through the freeze and I lasered myself by shooting down and reflecting it so it would hit me again. That's all for this video. Make sure to stay tuned because I definitely will be uploading more guides. Thank you.